Humidipacks, cigars, boxes, all that jazz. You get it for 20% off if you type in Sports Den at checkout. And it's about the best I can really do for you right there. That's a really good damn deal. Like, it's the deals are so good that I run a freaking cigar lounge based off of what I can get from thehumidor.com. And it's just they have the best stuff. Why pay more when you don't have to? It's one of the benefits of being affiliated. Just tell them Big Game sent you. If you go in there, they may give you a box of matches if you go into ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. They're not gonna give you no hookups on the liquor, but at the end of the day, just go support. Like, it's a few ways you can support the Sports Den or Den Media Group, and as we grow and we get new equipment, and especially if you want the Wi-Fi to be affected properly, there's only a couple things that really truly help this. One, go to my sponsors, click the links, use the codes. That's one way. You were going to buy cigars anyway, so why not buy them from thehumidor.com? That's one way. The second way is you could always go and just, I don't know, subscribe, like watch the videos. The longer we get people to watch the videos, the more monetization we get from YouTube. If we grow the Facebook page to a certain thing, we get good stuff. But if you can go to Den Media Group on YouTube and you click the little subscribe button, make sure you push the alert so you can know when it's coming on. You can watch us live, or you could just watch it later on. Make it background noise. Just click it. We need the views. It helps. Trust me. Every view helps. Go tell a friend to tell a friend. If right now every subscriber it got one person to join, we would be at 3,200. We'll be at 3,244 subscribers, and we would be doing not only a $200 giveaway, we would be doing a $300 giveaway. So once we get to 2,000 subscribers on Den Media Group, we'll be giving away 10% of the subscribership. Once we get to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, hell, one day we get to 1 million, I probably won't give anybody 100,000. I would shut down our bank accounts, and I don't want that to happen to any of you. But we will get. If we get to 1 million, I can legitimately give 10 people $999. I think that would bless a lot of people. That'd be like we'll call it the Big Games tax giveaway. So you hook me up, I hook you up. Shout out, or you could do what my guy Crypto Baron did. Shout out to him. He's always supported, always been a subscriber. Now he is a member. So I think that now brings me to, I think we might be at 10 members right now. So membership is as low as $3.99. It's as high as $99.99. But there's 4 levels. You get something for everything. This is what we're going to do. Miles told me with some of the equipment that we have that I can actually take calls. Yeah. If you are a member on the YouTube in the members only section, because there are things I can restrict to where only members can see, we will drop a number in there, and you can call that number and you can get live on the show. Right. You can tell your mama and them to come watch, be like, hey, I just asked a question, blah, blah, blah. That's about as good as a screen as we can do, right? Because if they're a member, they probably kind of know the vibe of the show, and they're not going to ask me nothing crazy. I mean, and we may do that. We may even just have a dedicated segment called maybe on Fridays or something. Fuck it Friday we'll just have, but we'll probably have it to where if you're a member, if you call in and it's something relative to what the segment is, we'll give you a minute or two to get it off your chest. My guy Darren Heitner's got it going on over there. Not really, but yeah, as I post this I really don't like posting on Facebook. So y'all go, if you're on Facebook, share this for me. Matter of fact, I'm posting it on my page. Check me out on YouTube though. I'm really thinking about before next football season comes, we are only going to post the link for the YouTube on Facebook Like we're probably gonna kill Facebook, or no, we could do a delayed view, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we may end up doing, it might not ever be live on Facebook again. Well, it'll be live to you, but it won't be live to us. Excuse me. Yeah, it'll be recorded, but you'll get a chance to see it. YouTube is the bad bitch right now. So, but yeah, and then also on my personal one, I'm going to start adding more content to it. I'll go really dedicated to the content. If we get to over 1,000 subs, we'll also treat it similarly to that. We'll give away $100. One of the things I like to do though is housekeeping, and I definitely tagged the wrong person, but we talked and got a lot of good discussion on social media, a lot of good debate about Anthony Richardson. And Anthony Richardson is supposed to be a top 5 pick. But there's a lot of rumors saying that he may be the first overall pick, and that the Indianapolis Colts are particularly going to be the team that goes for him. Now, right now, the Texans are leaning toward getting C.J. Stroud. That's where a lot of the stuff. The Chicago Bears right now sit at the first overall pick, and according to Shefty, that's Adam Schefter for those who don't know in the industry. Sources are saying the Bears are already have been approached by multiple teams about trading the draft's number 1 overall pick. And Chicago is said to be leaning toward moving the pick. So the number 1 pick now looks like it's for sale. So things are moving forward to making sure that, potentially the Anthony Richardson is going to be number 1 pick. And one thing that people always say is if you don't listen to anything else, listen to Vegas. The odds, Miles, do you remember what the odds were when you told me the first? Was it like 2,700?
Plus 1,200.
Plus 1,200. Okay, so it's plus 1,200. And I had a good young friend of mine, Harrison, was talking to me about this, and Harrison was telling me, oh, he had a plus 2,700 with his bookie. And he was like, he's going to do a couple tickets. He was like, how good are the odds? And so we went from anywhere from plus 1,200 to plus that. Well, this was on. So I was like a 500. I'm thinking about putting $500 down. And I think you told me then the payout would have been 10 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then he was saying with his guy payout would be about 13.5. It's pretty good money for me. $500. I waste $500 sometimes. Shit. Taking the kids. So I was actually out to eat with the fam. Went to Texas Day Brazil. Would have brought you, Miles, but we didn't know where you're at. But Trey was flexing with his friends. And then he asked me, is he throwing at the combine? And I said, he is doing everything. But the odds just shifted from, this is a fucking hell of a shift. From 2,700, or even if it was 1,200, to plus 700?
Really?
From Friday night, 8:26 p.m. to Saturday night at 8 p.m. So 24 hours, full 24. What's the odds now? Does it show, or is that current, or is that an old?
It's old.
Okay, yeah, so that's the old one. So it's getting too hot. His boogie said he couldn't take it. Oh, my bad. Then it bumped down to plus 630.
Oh man.
It's looking like, this is a really good shot, man. Really good shot. So, and if it happens, people alert Denny Thompson right now that I am throwing the biggest party here inside where we record every show. Inside of Goodfellas Cigar Lounge, we're going to throw the biggest, baddest, dopest fucking celebration party for my friend that anybody has ever seen. There'll be midgets and kaleidoscopes, all kinds of different things that we're going to make sure that everybody realizes and recognizes that Denny Thompson is the fucking man, because this man deserves it. called this before anybody else called it. He saw it. If it happens, I believe in reward. Even if my man goes top 10, he goes first round. I don't really care. But if he goes number 1 overall, I think that should be honored, admired, all that shit. Bigger than that, I'm gonna move into other stuff. I used to be in the training business. I've seen thousands of athletes go to college in my career when I was doing that. I still dabble. One thing I always, it's kind of like one of my favorite songs is, let's get that. I like the pig, and it makes me look like I'm a badass hunter or something. Even though my boy Scott hunted all that shit, not me. Clips, when they made their introduction when I went into college in 2002, and I wasn't far removed, not from that life. You'll never hear me argue like T.I. and some of these guys that I was like the world's greatest dope boy. Or so I know dope boys, but me, I was an athlete. I am a hood dude. I am from the hood, but I am not a hood dude. I can't go back. I ain't gonna adjust well if I ever have to go back. But they said my grind's about family, never been about fame. On the days I wasn't able, there was always Kane. And so if I ever don't make it in this, one thing I know I can go back and do. I can go back and train some kids. I'm almost afraid. Well, not bumpy. If you're really, really good, I don't believe in cancel culture. I'll be like my guy who writes Dilbert, who we're going to talk about here in a little bit. I make white kids fast. There's always going to be a market in that. So, but in all of those things, I remember training these kids up. To know them when they're in middle school or they're young. They're trying to, there was some kind of, not imperfections, because that's a bad word. Like they were trying to get over something, right? And you invested all this time, you invested this energy into them. They go to college, they're happy. Signing day cake is some of the best cake you'll ever eat in your life. They come back for spring break, they come back for the summer. You're training them for the low. I would never say free because I don't want anybody getting investigated, but you're training them for the low. It ain't what your normal costs are. For those guys, when it's their time to go off to the NFL, you know what these guys almost always never do? They never come back home and train. You were good enough. I just want people to realize what it sounds like. You were good enough to get them to college, to get them to the point, to the precipice is the word, of achieving their lifelong dream. But once they get there, they feel the need to have to go to Exos. They feel the need to have to go to Tom Shaw, who actually mentored me and trained me a lot. Let me tell you how Tom Shaw is the GOAT, by the way. Tom Shaw gave me the biggest erection I've ever had in my life. Not anything crazy, but I was at a pause. Yeah, definitely pause. I was at a coaches convention, right? Nike Coach of the Year clinic. T. Shaw did an outbreak session of training high school athletes, how to train high school athletes. I'm in the crowd. I go up and talk to him. I'm like, hey, man, we got Derrick Henry, Heisman Trophy winner. And we're like, I'm like, hey, man, just any advice you can keep giving me, dude, let me know. And he's like, the only advice I could give you for training somebody like Derrick Henry is to not fuck him up. So there is no advice. He's like, so anyway, so that's what he tells me before. And everybody sees me chopping it up with T-Shaw, but they think I'm chopping it up with them like them. I got to him first. I'm asking questions. So I'm sitting down. I'm sitting third row because this is a mentor of mine. I'm taking notes. I'm ready to hear some good game. T-Shaw says, I don't know why y'all are talking to me about how to train high school athletes. This dude right here, and he points to me, has the best athlete I've ever seen coming out of high school training with him. Y'all need to ask him. I was like, I'm talking about, I grew 4 inches, and I'm not talking about vertically. And I'm not mad at any of them for doing what's best for them. It's cool. It's all good. But what I like about Denny is I remember introducing Denny to Anthony. And for Anthony to go through, basically that off season going into his senior year, to go there consistently after he was training in college, to keep going back, and then he honored that man. The guy who poured into him and did stuff with the best possible endorsement you can ever give him. The money isn't yours, it's your agent's. And he told his agents, if I'm going to sign with you, I'm training with Denny Thompson. And all of his 6 points quarterbacks do that. I think that is fucking amazing. And if you have a kid right now and there's a guy, now I'm not saying if you guys are chasing cones outside, right? You can go back and train that. But if there's a facility that you are training with, this is what Big Game says. Honor that facility. If them people was good enough to get you into college, them people good enough to get you into fucking pros. Because trust me, again, Tom Shaw says this. Tom Shaw talks about Calvin Johnson. He said, everybody tells me I made this guy run a 4.3. He said, that motherfucker ran a 4.3 before I met him. He said, again, James, as I told you with Derek, the only thing I did was not fuck him up. But I thought that was dope. Black History Month is in full effect. FSU has a walking Black History Month fact, and we'll get into this a little bit more. Everybody wants to fire Leonard Hamilton, but Leonard Hamilton is always and will forever be good with me. Ham did some stuff for FSU that that I never thought true. We should have went to the Final Four, and if it wasn't for COVID, I believe that team was winning the national championship, or at least getting to the championship. It's still in the housekeeping, but this is the little known Black History fact. Before Saturday, AP top 25 teams were combined 1,234-0 when leading by 23 points or more at halftime over the last 25 years. The record now is 1,234-1 after FSU Hoops came back to beat number 13 team in the nation, the Miami Hurricanes. And that coach is the African-American coach for Florida State, one Leonard Hamilton. Love it. Some other things that, we're going to go ahead and delve into this. So going to the next thing. Yesterday, actually started on Friday, which we used to have this saying in sports that the only day our show wasn't on was Tuesdays. All the good shit happened on Tuesdays for most of our career while we were there, while we were on terrestrial radio. But one of the things that really stinks, and what I used to love about doing nighttime radio, is that basically if anything broke in that afternoon, you were one of the first ones on it. But what sucks about having a show that you record early, because it's convenient now, is that when you break it, or when you do your show, a million things can happen after that. And boy, did that happen on Friday. Goddamn, Mike Alford went in this motherfucker and was dropping bars. My dog was saying hey, I'm the guy. I'm going to show them how big our sack is. And boy, did he drop them. FSU had a board of trustees meeting. He talked a lot of that stuff. But then more things came out, and I got a chance to meet this guy, Tony Outmore, at TJALTIMORE on Twitter, if you would like to go see it, doing Mark Rogers' show in July. And during July, I think me, some guys in fifth quarter chat, and Chris with Spearatics were the only people talking about, hey, man, FSU finna get the fuck out of here. Everybody else was being well, we can't get out of here. There's the GOR and there's the buyout. The buyout's a lot of money. And the one thing I've learned, and I used to tell this guy who I used to be in business with, when he kept saying, I'm going to sue this person. I'm going to sue this person. I'm going to sue this person. They made me mad. I'm going to sue them. One thing I learned is, I was like, dog, you ain't never been in a lawsuit before, have you? I was like, this shit ain't fun. I was like, a lawyer could get disbarred. But one thing I do know is that these lawsuits don't just happen like that. And the more money involved, the longer the lawsuit is going to drag out. People are going to go to mediation. They're going to refuse mediation. There's going to be, not dissertation. I always forget what depositions. Then you got to go discovery. You got to submit records and things like this. That's why I always joke with y'all. I was like, people are like, hey man, that lying ass Cuban down there, James, is going to sue you one day. I said, I hope so. I would love to sit in the deposition. I got questions. I got questions and I want to see shit. I'm asking for, I know specific relationships that I want to see and I want them records. Anybody who got shit to hide does not want to go to court. I can promise you that. But TJ came in and I use common sense. And I always tell people, it's not about having inside information. It's about reading the tea leaves. It's about deductive reasoning, if you would. But I saw, but TJ came and put up fucking numbers, statistics, things that I had never thought to be true or would have never imagined. He nerded out, and boy, did we nerd out on Mark Rogers that day. So I said, you know what? With all this conference talk in the ACC, the Pac-12, there was a leaked thing saying that with the Pac-12's new, the new shit that they got, that the ACC and Pac-12 kind of pseudo mergership. Oh, might come back. They can still hear me though, right? Yeah. All right, might come back. I said, man, let me get TJ on this shit, man. So we had a show, and then I brought my guy Chris on. So if you want to, you should go check out that. If you want to be the smartest man in the room in your arguments about why FSU is leaving and it doesn't matter if you think FSU is going to the Big Ten. Doesn't matter if you think FSU is going to the SEC. You want to watch this because there's charts and graphs that can help you with your argument either way. But TJ came on and it literally it was so good. It wasn't just a true all-out nerd out, but it was dope. Oh, my bad. Before I get into this, I should have done this. My wholesome moment. You know, right now Big Game James is trying to stay out of Twitter jail. Big Game James 36, so he has to post wholesome moments. Trey's team won. We got the big trophy with flag football. We don't play for little trophies around here. You know, and we got we're 2 points. We didn't play our best game, but we're a lot better than everybody else. I'm not gonna lie. My guys know that they can like kind of dick around and get it done. They're 9-year-olds, so like I can't really. We curse. I don't curse kids out. I don't curse at these kids. I curse at the situations. So, but we had a little talking to, and that's us hosting up the trophies and shit. So, yeah. So let's get into this conference realignment talk. And nobody does a better job of including themselves in conversations that nobody asked them to be in than the University of Miami. Chris Tucker was one of the best comedic actors of the 90s. At one point, he was doing all kinds of stuff. He had hit after hit. And Charlie Sheen, who outside of having AIDS has a life that you kind of want to like some life quotes. But they both did this movie. And if you got it's the first link on Conference Realignment, Miles. He had this movie that came out. It was Money Talks. And in the scene, some guy breaks out this mobster, and Chris Tucker happens to be with the mobster. And basically my boy CJ Wilson, who is getting incredibly good at this trolling shit, puts up a video that's basically FSU and Clemson having a conversation and Miami trying to get involved. So this is going to fucking kill the monetization on this. But if you're watching this live, you'll be able to enjoy it because I'm going to eventually delete it. But like, go ahead, push play on that.
We made it, man. We did it. Everybody okay? Everybody all right? We made it, man. We did it. Everybody okay? Everybody all right?
People who are part of the breakout are celebrating, and Chris Tucker is over there like, yeah, man, we finally made it out. And basically Clemson and Florida State on Friday, Clemson following suit to Mike Alford's, basically said, hey, man, the way this shit is going right now in the ACC, it's not going to happen. Mike Alford went up and boldly stated, we cannot continue to lose $30 million a year and compete with our peers. Something has to change. What we did with TJ, we also we took it a step further into how it's going to affect the overall university and not just where the universe, like not just athletics. Because I think a lot of people in the South, and it's our ignorance in the South, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Our ignorance in the South is we believe because we see these massive facilities and these projects that, you know, everything is revolves around sports and athletics. To put it in perspective, just right now, what Florida State has with athletics, we bring in $35 million from the ACC, which is dope. Our research grants and things that we raised was $350 million, but that was 2 years ago. So there's a lot of money involved in athletics. We're ranked right now, I believe, we're one of the lower schools, and we're competing with Florida trying to get up there. Florida, I think, if I remember correctly on the graph, was about $800 million a year that they raise in research. And if you look at the bottom half, if we were in the Big 12 and we were ranked ninth, the ninth ranked school in the Big 12 makes $750 million a year in research grants. So just the move alone to the Big 12 would give us exponentially more money in athletics and in academics. It will more than double both of them. But the athletic director said that, and he came in, he dropped his nuts. So then Clemson's AD said, oh, whoa. You ain't finna just leave us out of this, man. I gotta shoot my shots off. As the Big Ten and Southeastern Conference deepen their pockets by adding schools with brand value, unequal distribution of ACC revenues has been floated as a way to keep bigger brand name schools such as Clemson satisfied with their financial position in the conference. When asked if unequal distribution was a want or a need, Clemson's athletic director Graham Neef chose the stronger of the two words. In all candor, I put it as a need. We certainly recognize the investment that we've continued to make as an institution in our community, in athletics, namely in football, which certainly drives a lot of value that is important from a television and revenue generation standpoint. Is it time for revenue distribution within conferences, or at least the ACC, is done differently? Yeah. I've been very active in those conversations within the league and continue to expect the leadership role or our desire. So basically, for those who need an opportunity to understand what this means is Florida State said, I want a divorce. Clemson said, I want a divorce too, but here is what you have to do in order to keep me around. And any men who have been in this situation, it doesn't have to be a divorce. It could be just a regular relationship. It never works. It like they've already got a foot out. They've already sampled. They've already tasted what's out there. Florida State knows, Clemson knows they're the baddest bitch at the prom. Everybody wants them. If Florida State was a nice, young, single, co-ed age girl, we would be Lori Harvey.
Oh.
Everybody wants Lori Harvey. Now the ACC isn't chum, but they're just not it for us right now. And anybody who saw this, like it was just, if you really argued against Florida State leaving, again, you don't really know what it's like to be in the court. Because one thing that when the money is this high, and with the board of trustees, one of the guys asked Mike Alford, who, by the way, Chris, if you're listening and you want to comment, Mike Alford is coming on the show on Thursday, I believe, Spearatics. So you might want to stay tuned in that, because Mike will tell you, I ask questions from the standpoint of a guy who's invested. And a fan kind of, but like I'm gonna ask the questions that ain't nobody else asking them. But if they actually base the money on viewership, right now $36.1 million per school on average in 2022. If it was based on viewership, this is how the distribution would have went. Florida State would have been number one. They would have got $61.6 million. Clemson would have got number two, $59.9 million. Then it would have been a steep drop off. UM would have got 39.6. Louisville would have got 39.2. Vodtech would have got 37.3. Syracuse would have got 34.2. Georgia Tech would have got 33 million. UVA would have got 32.6. Pitt would have got 32 million. NC State 32 million. UNC 30.5. BC, 29 million. Wake Forest, 24.5 million. Duke, 19.8. If you're listening to this, let me go back and tell you the bottom five. NC State, UNC, BC, Wake Forest, Duke. Now, Boston College, I'm going to scratch them off. But if 4 of your top 5 are in basically where the conference started in North Carolina, and they're the bottom in viewership, that's the crux of the problem right now. North Carolina dictates too much about what goes on in the ACC, and not enough people care about basketball when it comes to athletic dollars. If you're in Duke, if you're Wake Forest, if you're in North Carolina, if you have some fucking pride, you're not going to say Florida State, you know what, just to keep you satisfied, I'm going to give you 31 million more than what I make. Just don't leave me. Nah. But for Florida State says that the buyout is $120 million, and you're going to go to the Big Ten or the SEC, and you're going to make $40 million more, automatically you're going to be in a position that's much better than what you were in before. Again, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to use deductive reasoning. The guy clearly asked, he said, so if you're telling me we can make $30 million more, so after 4 years, we would have made up our $120 million deficit and we'll be okay? He said, yes. But again, anybody who knows how litigation works, you're not going to ever get to the point where it's going to be $120 million. They're going to settle out of court. And then the GOR. Every attorney that I know who has read the GOR, let me see if I can find Danielle's. And Danielle is a lawyer, you know, so people always want to tell you, like, well, if we're not lawyers, so we don't really know. Like, I just know a bunch of fucking lawyers. Some of it is because I have a family. I come from a family of attorneys. My sister's is a pretty damn good one. Some of it's because I had to use attorneys. Pretty damn good ones, both business and both business and in criminal, unfortunately. Damn, I can't find my dogs. No, I found that one. I was trying to find D. Kelly. Oh, you know what? I don't really tweet. I don't really do nothing like that on the Book of Faces. But the GOR is really the reason that people are saying we can't leave, we can't leave, we can't leave. And the GOR is basically stating that, you know, to summarize, if we left, we would have to give up our television rights until, I believe, was it 2036 or 2039? But that's like what the extension or something is alleged for the ACC. Now, the current deal is out. I think in 2025 is when they have to renew, or they're supposed to do something else with the deal. Can you tell me what Chris just said on that?
Oh, either Thursday or Monday, next Monday.
Okay. Well, either way, he's coming. Oh, she put joiner. Either way, he's coming up. So let's see what Danielle, an attorney, actually said. I want to read attorney words. All right. She got some good traction on this too. Yesterday, the BOT meeting, our athletic director did something, blah, blah, blah. So while people are shocked, it's not talking, I'm paraphrasing, but basically the memo yesterday was FSU is losing money, not to allow the legal side of it. Everyone heard that and felt a huge weight. All right. The conversation on media is grant of rights. This is completely different deal from getting out of conference and the buyout, according to the media. So let me explain. There are two different deals, and yet at the same time, maybe not like you think they are. A GOR is where we give up media rights to a conference, but there's also a separate contract to remember. Contracts are bargained for exchange. Each party gets something of value. We call it consideration. There's an offer, acceptance, and consideration. If I walk into your store and buy a hairbrush, I give you my money and you give me the hairbrush. That's a bargain for exchange. We both got something of value. Now keep the fact and remember that if you charge me $35 for a hairbrush that normally costs $5 because I am in an unequal position financially and have no other choice but to buy from you, then there may be a problem, especially if the store next to you is doing the opposite currently. So look at what Florida State has given the ACC versus the opposite. The money off the media rights doesn't necessarily come back to the school. From the networks, it goes to the conference based on their separate deal. Remember, networks and separate contracts now. A GOR isn't necessarily your contract with the conference overall. So the GOR isn't necessarily a contract with the conference. That's the key takeaway. Several problems with what the ACC has done. There's no consideration in the GOR contract that I have seen, period. That is why the true contract is the one with consideration. That would have to be the conference one dictating buyouts. I'm assuming because the GOR refers to a separate agreement. Think of the GOR as an amendment to an already existing contract that just may be now involving new third parties. Key takeaway. Think of the GOR as an amendment to an already existing contract, just maybe now involving new parties, meaning that you take contracts, you amend them. You don't necessarily, like, as things come up, it's agreed upon necessarily, but you still have to acknowledge all of the other things previously in the contract. So if you're not doing those things, then the contract isn't necessarily, like, it's still void. They put schools in an unfair bargaining position. I can find no other way to explain what we have signed. Now, this is what happened after the original GOR was signed. Notre Dame is a primary example. One of the first drafts of the agreement was in 2013 when Louisville joined, and Notre Dame joined in all but football. So right now, they're already playing at an uneven. They've shown that they have a willingness to play at an uneven playing field with what they did for Notre Dame. What does this mean? This means that though I may have an agreement between me and you, you're showing a propensity to be able to show favoritism. Now, if I want to go do something, I should be able to step out. This is enough to, and if you want to go, I'll make sure I reshare Danielle's whole thing. She goes in point by point, and she's pretty good at this shit. And a lot of lawyers are looking at this and saying there's all kinds of flaws, loopholes, and things of this nature. And, and this is just the legal part of it. So let me tell you this. The ACC is going to fight it. There's going to be all kinds of discovery. I guess what that's going to take? Years. And even if we did have to end up coming to an agreement to be able to pay it, the juice is well worth the fucking squeeze. And trust me, somebody would be willing to pay for it. But here's the real key with the GOR and for the GOR to exist, there has to be a conference, right? Well, you already got Clemson that's saying that they want to leave. I made a joke at Troll at Miami earlier in this segment. We're not going anywhere without Miami. So that's 3. I don't think Louisville is, if you got to go back and look at our stats and stuff and like this, or go back and look at Mark Rogers, where he talks about the different schools that are strong enough to be able to make it a push for Big Ten. Louisville has a pretty big market. They're just under Miami in terms of viewership currently of the ACC. I don't think they're good enough to go to the Big Ten, because what we talked about in yesterday's show was that the Big Ten is looking for people that actually add value and don't dilute. I don't think Louisville adds value, but I also think Louisville has a big enough share to be able to go to an SEC. And now you're getting a different market, because it's a little bit different market, or it strengthens their Midwestern market, and it's still technically the South. And you have the rivalry between Louisville and Kentucky. That would probably do numbers.
The folks gonna be in the Big Ten 3 years while they battle this out in court.
That part. Syracuse gets you the New York market. Pitt is a team that looks really good when it comes to this stuff. What if 5 schools say, man, fuck this, we don't like this? What if I just read, which one is it? Is it this one? Nah, not that one. Go back to the distribution. What if FSU, Clemson, UM, Louisville, and Virginia Tech said, fuck this? What do y'all think will happen? Guess what? There's no longer an ACC. The ACC can't, like, you would have to literally try to battle everybody. And if each one of these people put in different things against different cases in different states, that's a lot of money to defend your position. That's a lot of money to keep a bitch happy that don't want to be with you. All I'm saying is this is a long time coming. It's cheaper to keep her. Keep her satisfied. That's the key in all of this. But going back to Miami, I always trying to belong and kind of hitting into our little known Black history fact. Before we actually, Miami coaches Miami might not be going anywhere because Miami might not be Miami. Miami defensive ends coach on Friday, Rod Wright, accepted a role with the Houston Texans. According to Gabby Urethra, a 247, or whatever his name is. However you said it. Y'all can help. Y'all can help.
I was like,
Y'all can help me with that. But he says John D. Bryce had it first. Whatever. And Gabe also put in his 247 message board. I don't have a 247 account. I get these, and my friend, I just like to post them. I know that makes them mad. People do it to me in fifth quarter all the time. So fuck y'all. Also, watch out for Joe, whatever, who has interviewed for an NFL job. So has Jason Taylor. Like all the Miami coaches are leaving. Miami did just, however, hire a wide receivers coach. Congratulations to you guys. Something I noticed about the wide receiver coach from the University of Miami is I like coffee. I also like scotch, like bourbon. Never had a DUI. Man had like 3 damn DUIs. The defensive coordinator has a problem with tipping it up and tipping and sipping. Apparently, your wide receiver coach has a problem with tipping and sipping as well. Man lost his license for 5 years. It's almost like one of the qualifications to be a University of Miami coach is you gotta have a DUI. You gotta have some liquor in your life. The lying ass Cuban down there partying. But what's wild is there's only 10 coaches on the staff, plus the head coach. That's why it's 11. 6 coaches have left right before spring. What the hell is going on? You're not supposed to replace your entire staff in a year, man. I'm telling you, what if a little something's going on down there? We just saw with I think on Friday we talked about the women's basketball team, and now the entire athletic program is on probation for NIL. What if something's not quite crispy enough with the Concon down there in Miami, man, in Coral Gables? That's all I'm suggesting. I'm not saying anything else, but all I'm saying is maybe look out. By the way, we got people. Could y'all please push like that helps? Like all these people watching, can y'all all just right now just push the little like button? Just push the like button and a little share. That would help. That would help me tremendously. But speaking of lying ass Cubans and watch out for stuff. Part of the reason why Miami's on probation is because of a damn lying ass Cuban and his tweets. His tweets is what got them in trouble in the first place. Remember it. He tweeted about hanging out with two twin girls, old old men. It looked like something off of the Hub. That's what it looked like. Part of that. But in another case of it be your own tweet. Now, if you pull up that first one, John Ruiz was very confident about our little known Black history fact at first. The next one. Yeah, that one first. Miami was whipping Florida State's ass, 46-25 at halftime. I think my boy OJ hit me up and said, "Hey, the fuck is going on with Florida State? Do you see this ass whooping?" I said, "Man, I don't watch basketball. I don't fuck up my own happiness. That's one thing I've learned to do. The life is tough enough for me to go searching for shit that I don't want to see. But this game is well in hand right now. And you know what one Jonathan Hector Ruiz said? FS who? It's one of the trolls that Miami fans think is cute and creative. A few moments later, FSU goes on to win this game 85-84. And if you look at this, right there, if you look at the circled person there, he is disgusted. That is a one John Armando Ruiz. Lioness Cuban is disgusted. Ugh, I paid a lot of money for this L. I'm just saying, if you see me use that picture quite a bit over the next, let's say the course of the next, somewhere in the next 90 days, I just gotta give myself a lot of leeway. Just know a lot of dots might be connected. But this is a case of it be your own tweets. Stop popping shit. That's it. So that's one thing. But now just something real quick about, I talked about high school athletes training and all these different things. Let me nerd out real quick on you a little bit. Now, one thing, I'm about to go to the NFL Combine, which is one of my favorite events because it's what I did for quite some time is Combine training. I loved it. The one thing about the NFL Combine is that laser does not lie. That laser is literally on the first move. When your hand moves, that is one of the first things. What happened?
We have 19.
Oh, how's it showing? Okay, well, whatever.
Oh,
Facebook. Oh, fuck it. Don't worry about it. We're good. As long as we keep them likes, so we're good. The laser don't lie. But one of the things that I'm noticing is that you've got an elite athlete here, and you can show that video that you just pulled up. This is an elite athlete. He's one of the top running backs in the nation. Florida State commit Cam Davis. No. I want him. I can't wait to see him actually run at Florida State. But as a running back, now he's not running track, thank God. But as a running back, I'm going to tell you he's an elite athlete. But this is not how elite athletes look. And I'm going to tell you why what the reason why is. Right there. And that not good at all. But you keep playing it. And here's the reason why he didn't run as fast as I believe he can run. I think kids play too much. He's on a 7-on-7 team. He's got probably playing another sport. He's got his high school workouts. Every weekend he's doing something. Elite athletes don't do this. So one of my son's godfather ran track professionally. One of the few broke. I think Gordon ran a 9.8 at one point. Ran professionally for Guyana. I happen to know what's my guy's name? He's always here. Marvin Bracey Jr. saw him. Marvin Bracey. Yeah, saw him last Saturday. His son plays on the same field as my son. We talk a lot. Really good guy. One of the fastest people in the world. You know what Marvin doesn't do every week? He doesn't run every fucking week. He takes time to let the body heal. You take time to develop and make gains. He's also the professional athlete. There's a reason why there's one combine and then you have a pro day. You literally spend time developing and training your body, eating properly, resting properly, doing all these different things. For some reason, we believe high school kids who eat twice a day, have algebra homework, can literally go out and, like, there's a study done for people who do 7-on-7, right? In one 7-on-7 tournament, you will play 1.5% more than what you actually played during your high school football season. So we're believing that young men who don't have proper nutrition, don't have adequate training, don't have all these different things can go out and do this. Now, at a combine, you don't have a chance to eat except for breakfast, which you probably missed, and after it. But you're competing at a high level. So this was at the Under Armour Top 100 combine in Atlanta. And then on top of that, he hasn't had any opportunities to work on his overall technique. So imagine this. So this is, for football players, a combine is effectively your ACT, SAT test. I want to talk to the parent and I want to just tell you, would you send your kid to go take the ACT or the SAT blind, having never seen the test before? No, you'll take ACT prep. You'll at least go buy a book like the ACT for Dummies. That was one of the big things when I was in high school. Go to Barnes & Noble. Get that shit. But yet, parents are, this is how I know he's an elite athlete, because I've seen what he's done on the football field. And that's the most important thing. But why would I send my kid to something like this without having proper, adequate training, nutrition, or rest? It's not an indictment. I'm saying, like, this is just one of the, again, a kid who I know is probably faster than what his time set. And I'm not even going to get into the lack of knee drive and the lack of arm drive and just the fatigue that came at the end and all these different other things. Yes, I am. So if he would have just got the knee drive a little bit more force, put a little bit more force production into the ground. Hey, let's break this time. Boom. Right there. Too many steps in the 10. And then after that, you can see where his knees are literally pointing to the ground. That's just not, we got to work on that, baby. I can clean that up for you about, you come down here to Jack. It's on, well, can I say it's on me, or is that illegal? Is it because he's a commit? Sign first. Whenever you sign, we'll figure all that shit out. But I need you to sign to Florida State. Phenomenal athlete. Can't wait till he comes there. But that was just me nerding out for a second. Sorry about that. Not really. Something that women need to finally acknowledge. What time we got on there, Miles? It's okay. And I'll go ahead and say this is my hate o'clock, brought to you by Green Acre Sporting Goods. Green Acre Sporting Goods, go to outdoor shop. Go get you a gun. They had them Uzis out there last week. They've got, Z told me, I want to make sure I read this right. If you are a collector, right? If you're a collector, they've got a plethora of World War I and World War II wartime rifles that they have on deals. The guy is unloading his collection. It's top of the line stuff, but nobody but anybody that's a collector should come by the shop, because we got a lot to look at if they're into old school stuff. So like they get stuff like this all the time. They don't just have guns; they have bows and arrows. They have fishing equipment. It's literally the largest outdoor shop in Jacksonville. We discussed corny dude turned dick, Russell Wilson, the other day. And why, and the thing, for every no good dude, there's a no good woman that turned him no good. I think that's the. I got the women love to use that. They're like, for every no good woman, there was a no good dude who turned her no good. Like there isn't an inverse to that shit. One thing I hate about this, people, and this is what we'll get in our hate o'clock when we get into this too. There is no monopoly on ain't shit. Everybody has the ability to be ain't shit. I know I got friends who ain't shit that are dudes. I got friends who are women that ain't shit. But this could have been the origin story for a villain. But yet this man turned it into a bunch of useless movies that we really don't like, but we like because we want to support black people. But he's turning it into a positive, and that's Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is considered one of the sexiest men in the world. Now, Michael B. Jordan gave one black woman a chance. Lori Harvey fucked it up for the rest of y'all. So y'all blame Lori Harvey for why Michael B. Jordan went back to white women. I don't know if you can go look for it, dog, but like if you can, we'll talk. But if you could go find, he went to Barstool's offices, and then boy, is that how white women gawk over some black men? Because, man, I'm going to tell you this, sisters. I can see why he left the first time. It's like Michael B. Jordan Barstool. Like, just see if you can find that, man. Because these white women were, when I tell you thirsty, parched, that wouldn't be too cool sometimes. Like, Mose was over. I don't know if it goes into shows, all of the stuff. Yep. Yep. Let's play it, run that beautiful bean footage. Actually, we can show Gilly discussing how it was, because this is literally no lie, because some of the people might not be able to see it, but like these women right here, kings know your worth. This is when they say know your worth, king. This is what they mean. Hero right here, boy, was ready to, like, I tell you what, Michael B. Jordan wasn't gonna get Kobe on this one.
The snacks in
Yeah, all the type of stuff.
Is the seat cool? What's going on?
Wow.
Oh, the sexiest man alive.
You out of control.
All right, so that's not even like, they actually interviewed.
It's crazy, man.
One of the girls
That's crazy, man.
is so sexy. He's so attractive.
Yeah, all the type of
What
stuff.
the
Jordan. Oh, I mean, they were going off. Like, if a man, so what's crazy is, this is what's so confusing about this time. If we talked about somebody like that, we would get Me Too'd. But anyways, though, Michael B. Jordan wasn't always Michael B. Jordan. And most of us weren't always who we were. And what's the point of getting famous and dope if you can't, or be, like, what's the point of having muscles if you don't flex, right? So Michael B. Jordan did the biggest flex. And unfortunately, a black light-skinned queen, because light-skinned women are evil. Love my mama to death. Love my sister. My mom is the only light-skinned woman I trust wholeheartedly. And she's probably evil to somebody's son. Not my dad. Dad, you don't get to call my mama evil. Sorry, it's beyond you. But Michael B. Jordan got interviewed on the red carpet for his upcoming movie Creed with another African-American male that everybody was ripping apart. Was she white? Is she white? Black? I think, yeah, she's black. If you go look at Glock Topic, Miles, under the corny dudes, like, black men have been telling y'all this for a while, and y'all love your think, the last one. Y'all love your fucking think pieces. Oh, why can you why do, like, corny? They always say you want the thug, you want the drug dealer, you want the dope boy. This is a generalization, and there are specific instances where it's not. But we all know, even if it's just an older guy, a lot of guys in high school don't get traction. A lot of guys don't get traction to play anyway. But you don't want the upstanding gentleman until he's either famous, rich, or you've already been ran through. It might not be you, lady, in particular, listening to this, but trust and believe, if you stop lying to yourself, you know a few. Future is winning for a reason. And I don't even think Future's that bad. Apparently, Future's a really good dad. But Michael B. Jordan is now famous. And this light-skinned heifer comes up, and she tries to, like, big time, like, be like, hey, man, we go way back to high school. Her name is L'Oreal, I think Lore''L. And my man, Michael B. Jordan, made sure he let her remember. Like Michael Jackson had that song, Do You Remember the Time? He said, yeah, I remember, girl. And I'll tell you a story if I've done this before to somebody, but if we could get that, I know you're trying to get that video of, like, to the video play. And we don't have to play the whole thing, but we can play like just because he goes out real quick. Because in the beginning of it, she tries to name drop my man.
We know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark. Okay.
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name, but yeah. So shall we got Michael B.
Just go ahead. Just play it again. Just play it again. Yeah, right there.
So shall we got Michael B. Jordan, the director. Michael B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark. Okay.
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name, but yeah, he is obviously killing things out here. How is the difference between you actually directing and working with the same people that
why, women? I'm gonna tell you why. It doesn't matter how famous you get. Y'all love to tell us that you didn't like me when I was fat. You didn't like me when I was this. Y'all get on these things and y'all think men don't. You tell us to show our emotions, but this is why we don't. Because when we do show our emotions, you start writing think pieces. This motherfucker told you, I remember when you called me corny. I remember when you didn't like me, when I wasn't fly. But now, I'm Michael B. Jordan, got ripping muscles. Boy might have had pimples. He might have had a whole bunch of other shit going on, but now he's one of the biggest movie stars in the world. I don't like his movies, but I can recognize if enough women say the man is handsome, then the man got to be fucking handsome, right? Now you like me. He was voted I think 2 years ago, sexiest man in the world. So now you like me. And that's a great thing to do. But you know what Think Piece Twitter did? Stupid ass Twitter that can't ever do things. This one chick got all the smoke that she wanted. MBJ being nearly 40, rich and famous, still reacting to who called him corny in high school, really just proves that he's fucking corny. And a bunch of other people made shit like this. But then this is you, Twitter hitter, too. Same bitch tweets that. Yes, I said it. That's what you are. Not all women are, but we can be specific at times. I 100% hold grudges against people who call me ugly. I don't care how long it's been. And don't let it be a N-word who called me ugly in middle school trying to talk to me now. You all these years on and still holding grudges? Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Y'all always win it both ways. Even Drake said, I ought to come to my high school reunion and make everybody have to go through security clearance. What's the point? I remember I did this. Now, I felt kind of bad, but I did. Because the chick didn't talk to me when we was in high school. She treated me like I was a scrub. But then when I became big game at Florida State, I was talking to the girl. I was talking to the Puerto Rican girl who used to talk to me all the time. From when I was in 9th grade to when I got to college, she treated me nice, right? I talked to her. Now, her friend never talked to me in high school. She comes up and she's happy to see me. Like, we know each other. And I'm like, bitch, I don't know you. You ain't talking to me when you was in school. Like, you treated me like I was a loser. I wasn't, but I'm saying she didn't, I wasn't. Those girls wanted the dirt. They wanted the. There was girls who like I'll admit, my high school girlfriend liked me because I was safe-ish. Like everybody knew I was from the hood. Everybody knew I had a little bit in me. I pissed her dad off enough, but I was like educated. Everybody knew I was going to fucking college, but I was hood enough to make her daddy mad. I am mature enough, and if she's mature enough now, we can admit these things. Like her husband, she's happily married to somebody who's a complete 180 of me. I mean, I'm talking about in every aspect. He's probably half my size. he's not a macho guy, but she's happy, so whatever. But like, it's tiring. Men, it is time not to be victims. Don't do what the new age snowflake, some of these, not all, I'm saying this, not all you. So if this bit burns a little bit, this is you then. But let's do what some of these white people are doing. And what I mean by that is, let's just start being sensitive. Like, let's not be overly sensitive, but we can still call people out a little bit. And when you notice a chick is doing some things that's a little bit backwards, don't be afraid to say that. But like, if you can, if you go to the third tweet, Miles, it sums it up, because this is how you knew he had been waiting on. It's like that song, Phil Collins, I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Like, my man Sad Boys puts it like, just look at dog face. Like, that's when you know, like when you know you the shit, and you know she's just trying to get her, like, like you just look like, yeah, bitch, fuck. Yeah. What now? I'm corny now, still corny. And it's funny because like I wouldn't be in this situation, because I have a friend who is actually a person who's rolling up, getting close to this level. That I went to school with, KJ Smith. And I think she's an amazing actress. If KJ did this to me, it would kill me. It would crush me a little bit. But because I was actually really nice to her. Like, she was never corny. She was a cheerleader, man. KJ was bad. I actually liked her when she was thicker. She done lost a lot. She got the Hollywood weight now, so it's like real skinny. But if you could do one thing, Miles, I think his name is Steven Adams, or the writer for Dilbert. I didn't send this to you, but if you can find just the rant, and I'm going to. This is going to be a little bit extended version of my 8 o'clock, and this is why I say don't be like the snowflake white man. But like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it doesn't really affect me. I think it's mad crazy. I think it's pandering, and I think he's going to be quite fine. So before white people say, "Listen, you can't, no freedom of speech," no, you have the freedom to say whatever you want. There's no freedom of consequences. But if we ever wanted to see the white version of what happened to Kanye, here it is. I can't remember the last time I read a newspaper, and I definitely don't remember ever reading Dilbert. But if y'all's mad and dropped by these companies that choose to not do business with them, look them up, make sure to pick them up in other publications. There's plenty of racist literature that people can go get Dilbert in if they want it. Like, I'm sure they'll pick him up, and he'll never lose. This man literally made an entire statement off of a random ass poll, and it's wild. So what the guy did was, he went off, first off, and it starts off really, really funny because they didn't show this part. I don't know what his contributions to the African American community have been. I don't know what all he's done, but I do know he said that he is changing the way he identifies himself. He is now a white man. He said he identified as black. He wanted to be on the winning team. Do they have the whole? Yeah. Yeah, there's some context to it, but like, well, let me finish while you're getting that set up. So he started off by saying all of that, and then he went to a situation where he quoted a poll. Don't know which poll, but a poll, not research, not data, a poll. A poll is basically the opinions of whatever the select group that they went. They could have polled a bunch of people after a Black Panther meeting. They could have polled Dr. Umar Johnson. But what the poll stated is that 50% of black people, half of the black people hate whites. And so now we can go play the video. Like, that's the context that I want people to just, it's funny, right?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's just hilarious. So push play when we get this, because this is like, I don't get it.
If nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, that's a hate group.
That was the comment that may have ended Scott Adams's newspaper career. The Dilbert creator referencing a poll from the conservative firm Rasmussen Reports that indicated 53% of black Americans.
We're already up. He's quoting. He doesn't even understand that he's being gaslit. He is quoting a poll from a conservative group about black people. is the one argument that everybody in the GOP has about blacks? The one thing that everybody can automatically assumes that I am. They automatically assume I'm a Democrat and I'm a Republican. So I'm pretty sure that it wasn't, and it ain't a lot of us. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a lot of black people, and the black people that they probably polled and interviewed probably weren't going around saying, I hate whites. It's kind of like when they talk about this woke culture, cancel, making white kids feel bad. And I'm like, I have yet to get I am very involved in my son's school. There's a video, both of them. I have yet to get a kill whitey worksheet for homework or see any of this stuff. Just like I'm still disappointed because I haven't learned about lesbians. And Trey is getting 4th grade. He's getting ready to get out of I don't think it's in the curriculum this year. Y'all promised me that my son was going to be learning about gay people while he was between kindergarten through 4th grade. And I'm going on, and I have yet to see one piece of literature, and it's pissing me off because I had expectations. But if we can go ahead and push it, because that's the classifying all black people as a hate group isn't the worst part about this. Like, it's just why I'm a little nervous about DeSantis and education, because this is an old ass white man that's doing this.
Kids agree with the statement, it's okay to be white, leaving the other 47% to say they disagree or aren't sure. The Anti-Defamation League has noted that phrase has a long history in the white supremacist movement.
The best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people.
He continued to double down throughout his show. The Washington Post, Los Angeles Times, and USA Today among the hundreds of newspapers that denounced Adams and quickly pulled Dilbert. USA Today newspaper CEO Mike Reed.
It was frankly an easy decision. We found the remarks.
It's kind of like the thing where people are like, nobody. Absolutely nobody. Dilbert creator. 50% of black people hate whites. And my advice to white people is to stay the fuck away from black people. I, for one, love. I wish we had this sound about the little. We gotta put the sound of the little white boy. They killed him. The whites. I love the whites. I love the blacks.
I don't say I don't like the nigger, period.
That's basically what he said. I would have been more cool with that. My problem is that I don't know where he lives. And then he also goes on to bring up the gay CNN reporter Don Lemon, talking about he doesn't live around black people and that he's seen less crime and stuff like that, which I believe was out of context, because most hoods, it's not the crime per se, it's the lack of opportunity. I always tell people I have very little police in my neighborhood, but I have never seen anything bad. I think we've had one murder. It was a murder-suicide, and the guy caught his wife cheating, and he killed her and he killed himself, and it was a white man. So none of the Indians and Asians that live in our neighborhood were the goons. But in a world where everybody talks about people are so sensitive, right? They don't talk about, like, people are so fucking scary. Like, that's just scary. That's some scary, wild shit. Not scary to me. Like, I'm like, why are you even making this statement? What made you go say 50%, like, make such a generalization? I don't believe that 50% of white people hate black people. I don't believe 50% of I don't believe it's 10%. I believe it's a loud 5 maybe. But, like, and there probably are black people. But one thing I always tell people when it comes to, like, they talk about black fathers aren't in the household. I said, one, you're looking at the data wrong. 2, in your experience, you know me. So you know me as a black dad that's involved. You also know I don't hang around black dads who aren't involved. So in your experience, what have you ever seen that makes you afraid of a black person? And you know what happens most of the time when I break it down to people like that? They've had 0 experiences that are negative. They've had positive experiences. It's what they've seen through social media or TV that has influenced what they think. That shows you how powerful and why he's getting his comic book stripped away. It's because foolishly, most people are you're nowhere near as free a thinker as you think you are. Because most people are genuinely good people. Come hang out with me at a tailgate. It's like the world of fucking nations. It's why it is one of the main reasons why I was so adamant about making sure my son had a white godfather. I also popped my son in the lip one day when he said he hate cops. Now I've gotten my ass whooped by cops. I've been illegally detained by cops, but I still don't even hate them like that. I understand the purpose. Everybody can be a dick, but I also just think people need to be able to tell the truth about stuff. And I would never, I promise, James Coleman, will never make a generalization or a stereotype based upon a fucking random ass poll that I got from a site that was clearly biased. Because I just don't think that's the way a rational person should think. So, other than that, man, like, please go check out, subscribe, link, tell a friend to tell a friend. Check out previous podcasts, previous posts. Share this. If you're we're trying to get to 2,000 subs. Please let us get to those 2,000 subs. Try to get to as many members as we can get. But once we keep getting the membership up, I don't know when we'll have it. Probably let's give me about a couple weeks to try to work on having that phone. If you're a member and you want to call and chop it up, we'll make sure we have that. We'll make sure we have the lines buzzing, and we'll be here for that. So other than that, appreciate you guys chopping it up with me, and we will see you guys next time.